Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO and encourager to homeschool families everywhere. I am determined and dedicated to helping you. Yes, I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice, at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart, is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Well, hello there, Freedom Scholars. Yes, I have officially renamed you. So many of you tell me that you are never at home. You are out living and learning and taking educational opportunities with you. Okay, I guess some of you do spend some time at the kitchen table, but certainly not all day and certainly not every day. I do think there was a time when we may have heard that word homeschooler and we had a vision. For me, I pictured a mom with multiple children at a kitchen table, stacks of workbooks, her children wearing her hand-sewn clothes, and enjoying her homemade, recently incubated yogurt. All good things. And homemade yogurt is amazing. But the traditional homeschool imagery that I once had, that kind of landscape has changed drastically over the years. Do you agree? That may have once been the reality, but today's homeschool family looks so different. I like to imagine homeschooling nowadays more like an educational ecosystem. It's not just school at home. That's what we're going to dive into on this week's episode. I think it's very interesting. If you go back in time to the early days, I'm not saying as far back as colonial times, before schoolrooms were even an option. I'm talking more like 50 years ago. It was actually in 1973, and it was considered an underground movement at the time. But a group of people began to homeschool their children in the United States. And at the time, the head count was approximately 13,000 families were opting to do that. In fact, in the majority of states in the 70s, it wasn't even legal to homeschool. You were breaking truancy laws and your children were not in a school setting. And so in the 1980s, a lot of legal battles began, and slowly states were accepting of families choosing to homeschool. It wasn't until 1993 that it did become legal to homeschool in all 50 states of the United States. Often back in those earlier days, homeschooling meant one parent, it was usually the mom, at home with minimal materials, offering up learning in some kind of isolated setting. And that was when a lot of stereotypes began. These were isolated families, so the social interactions were very minimal. There were not standards or benchmarks being checked or met. But today it is so different, and over 4 million families are homeschooling their children in the United States, and they're doing a phenomenal job. In some of the more recent findings in 2022 and 2023, we have started to see that homeschooled children are performing at higher levels in reading, writing, and math skills in comparison to those children sitting in the traditional classroom setting. So it's only getting better, which is pretty amazing. And part of what has changed are the formats. I think there are so many diverse homeschooling formats. Of course, there's still the independent, parent-led homeschooling families. Some people file a PSA, a private school affidavit. They give their homeschool its own name, and they don't receive any support from any schools, charter schools, or anything. They just do this completely independently, which is awesome. A lot of families are loving that there are these charter schools or hybrid programs that have independent study where you can still use school funding from the taxes that you pay for your city, but you can use it for the educational needs of your children, and you can even partner with them. You can do some classes on a campus, maybe 1 day a week instead of 5 days a week. Other people do co-ops, which work great. Some families opt for online learning. So parents aren't doing much of the teaching. Children are learning from credentialed teachers perhaps, but in an online basis. Some do it for every single subject. Some just do an online class for one subject. Some people hire tutors to come into the home to help, and some states allow for even dual enrollment. So the options are many. There are so many rich resources available these days, whether that be the online tools or field trips or community programs. And I think the thing that so many homeschooling families love today are these flexible schedules. They are learning year round. They can learn in the evenings. They can learn while traveling. I mean, travel-based learning is pretty amazing. And a lot of these homeschoolers are called world schoolers. They literally take their learning on the road and they go and immerse themselves in a culture. Imagine the learning and the language. It's phenomenal. So with all of these changes, you see endless possibilities. And with that, you could absolutely discover a new way to see yourself as a homeschooling family, define what you do. I want you to consider all of these things. Parents are now more than teachers, they're educational designers. You're like a learning architect. You're an education curator, and your role is to choose and combine and connect multitudes of resources. Rather than teach every subject personally, you can provide such an incredible learning environment by opening yourself up to possibilities. Here's an analogy for you. You know I love analogies. And I like to imagine I'm hosting a party. I'm inviting all these great people, but I really don't want to cook for 50 people. I don't want to cook everything. So what might I do? I would make this party a potluck. I don't know about you, but I love a good potluck. It is so fun to see and taste other people's great recipes. I just love seeing what other people bring to the table. Yes, I guess the pun is intended there. But here's the point. Just like a party such as that, where I don't have to cook every dish, I can enjoy what others bring. You also do not need to teach every subject. If you are not having fun teaching writing, for example, I love doing that. I'm going to show up with more energy and excitement and creativity than you likely have the energy to do. So you should definitely invite me to your party. I will bring the writing curriculum and you will love it. So as a new semester is unfolding, I just wanted to record a quick episode to encourage you. I want you to stop thinking that you have to be the sole expert in all things. You do not. I want to encourage you to build your network stronger than ever this year. Use tutors, use online programs, find local resources, do what you can do to enrich your child's education this year. I want you to get creative. You know that libraries, they offer STEM or STEAM programs, and that involves incorporating your science and technology and engineering and art and math. You can find local art studios. Many local providers have fun workshops for children. You might even join or start your own nature group. Let's get creative this year. Homeschooling today offers more opportunities than ever before. And I want it to be something that the majority of families feel that it's attainable and something that they can be very successful doing. Because I will tell you the one thing that has not changed, and that is the heart of homeschooling. The heart of homeschooling is still the same, and that's about you. You, the parents, you who are investing deeply in your child's lives and in their education. Now, sure, the methods and the tools and the possibilities have multiplied, but whether you're growing your yogurt or growing your children to become future leaders, homeschooling in today's world is about crafting a life of learning that fits you and your children and your family best. You are freedom scholars, and that is something we're celebrating. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.